Good morning. Welcome to the Non-Commissioned Officer Leadership Center of Excellence International Recognition Hall of Fame and Hall of Honor ceremony. We would like to take a moment to recognize some of the special people who have joined us here today. Sergeant Major of the Army, Daniel A. Daly. Mr. Tom Thomas, Civilian Aide to the Secretary of the Army. Dr. James Martin, CGSC, Dean of Academics. And Sergeant Major of the Army, retired, Kenneth Preston. Please rise for the invocation to be given by Chaplain Calvin Park and the playing of our national anthem.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, as we gather this morning to celebrate the gifts of time and talent you bestowed on us, your soldiers, we thank you for 8 beautiful lives that we honor and will induct this morning into our Hall of Fame and honor. Almighty God, we do this ceremony because they are soldiers who sacrificed their lives for their countries, for the soldiers they led, and for victories on the fields of battles. Father, we thank you that they lived and served among us, and that we have the opportunity to continue that service through us. O Lord, today, enable us to dedicate not just a nameplate on the wall this morning, but our very lives. To thee, O Father, and to family, country, duty, honor. Amen.
Please be seated. Today's event honors the tremendous achievements of past international graduates as well as those of Class 69. And solidifies the bonds between the Non-Commissioned Officer Leadership Center of Excellence and the United States Army and our international partners. Hosting today's event is Command Sergeant Major Jimmy J. Sellers, Commandant of the Non-Commissioned Officer Leadership Center of Excellence. Since the creation of the Non-Commissioned Officer Center of Excellence in July of 1972, the Academy has had a direct impact on the education of the Army's entire corps of non-commissioned officers through its stewardship of NCOL professional development courses.
Good morning. You guys look great today. How you feeling? One day before graduation? Everybody's fired up? I gotta tell you, what a great, Chief, you trying to get us started? Hey, what a great day to be a soldier. Star-studded audience out here this morning. And so let's welcome our 15th Sergeant Major of the Army, Sergeant Major of the Army, Dan Daly. So for those of you who don't know, Sergeant Major of the Army, Dan Daly is going to be leaving us here in a few short months. But I just want to take a moment to recognize publicly, all his contributions to our United States Army for all the great work he's done for our non-commissioned officer corps and our Army as a whole. And this event today kind of signifies one of those things that he's done for our Army as he brought in the international partners here that we're going to recognize today. So let's join me in a round of applause for Sergeant Major of the Army, Dan Daly. On behalf of the grateful Army, we really do appreciate your efforts. So we also have a couple other sergeant majors in the Army I'd like to recognize. The British SMA is here today. Where you at, SMA? the New Zealand SMA here today. SMA. And then we got the Australian Sergeant Major of the Army here today. Join us. Gentlemen, thank you all for being here today. Your attendance makes this ceremony special. To our distinguished guests, family members, and friends, and most importantly, Class 69. That's right. So in a couple of days, you're going to get an opportunity to go out there and be the difference. So just like we do every year since the inception of the Hall of Fame in 2009, we are recognizing the contributions of our great international partners, who have all graduated from the United States Army Sergeant Major Academy and moved on to various positions of importance and increased responsibilities throughout their armies. Most are Sergeants Major of their army, where they continue to make a significant impact and contributions to it today. One of the best parts, in my opinion, about attending the Sergeant Major course is having the opportunity to learn from our international partners and our sister services. From this, I think we all benefit from the enduring relationships which derive from those that develop here at the Academy. It's important because those relationships and networks established here extend far beyond the classroom. They extend to where we may find ourselves in the near future. So when you think you learned a lot inside the classroom, you have to take into consideration what you add in from the knowledge and experiences of our international partners and what they bring in. And I think what they provide is a global perspective and views on those situations that are happening out there in the world today. Working and learning alongside our international partners is not a new concept. We've been doing it since the American Revolution. And today, we fight alongside numerous partners to achieve a common goal. Simply put, we cannot do it alone. We need our international partners to win. So I think it's fitting that we have international partners attending not only the Sergeant Major course, they also enroll in every enlisted course our Army offers. And soon they will be attending our Master Dues course. The reciprocal agreements that we have to participate in other courses is not only vital, it's critical to building our partner relationships and our partner capacity. As a result, we learn from each other and about each other. So today, we have 6 honorees who are being inducted into the International Student Hall of Fame. Warrant Officer Class 1, Rabuli, Command Sergeant Major Rebane, Sergeant Major Kovac, Sergeant Major Pop, Command Sergeant Major Katinas, and Warrant Officer 1, Richmond. Congratulations to you all as you now join the 46 inductees from our 33 different partner nations. Let's give them all a round of applause. So inductees, take pride in your accomplishment today of being selected to the Hall of Fame. Your contributions throughout our armies cannot be measured, thereby solidifies your selection to the Hall. Thanks for all you do, and congratulations on today's induction. Leaders build lethality, we develop leaders. Army strong.
The International Student Hall of Fame was established on 26 June 2009 to recognize those international students who graduated the Sergeant's Major course and have gone on to assume the position of their respective country or armed forces Senior Enlisted Advisor, a position similar to that of the United States Army Sergeant Major of the Army, and have made lasting contributions to the leader development and education of the Corps of the non-commissioned officers of their respective countries. There are currently 46 members from 33 countries in the Hall of Fame, and today we will induct 6 additional international senior enlisted advisors. Please welcome today's Master of Ceremonies, Vice Chair of the Department of Command Leadership, Sergeant Major Gabriel Arnold. Please join the Commandant in welcoming our first inductee, Command Sergeant Major of the Lithuanian Land Forces, Command Sergeant Major Remigijus Katinas.
Remigijus Katinas was born on 20 March 1974 and entered the Army in 1993 as an infantryman. He attended the Marines Sergeant course in Quantico, the Basic Instructor course in Norfolk, and the Counter IED course in Norway. Command Sergeant Major Remigijus Katinas was was appointed as the Command Sergeant Major of the Lithuanian Land Forces in 2017. He is a graduate of Class 66, United States Army, Sergeant Major Academy.
Command Sergeant Major Remigijus Katinas.
Good morning. Sergeant Major of the Army, Commandant, all distinguished guests, and of course, Class 69. First of all, thank you for this given opportunity to be back in this great place. And as I graduated, it was Sergeant Major Academy. Now it's Leadership Center of Excellence. It's the big honor and really big pleasure, not only for myself personally, but also for the NCOL Corps and for the Army and for the country where I came from. It's for the Lithuanian. And secondly, I would like to emphasize on the importance, how it's important to graduate from this Leadership Center of Excellence, or previously Academy. Globalization process is creates the conditions where we not really sure where we're gonna serve or we gonna continue our service tomorrow or day after tomorrow. So in that case, it's really important to get or to be educated in multinational environment. And this education in multinational environment, actually for us, is priceless. It really doesn't matter what class we graduated or that we graduated from the different classes, but it's really matter and it's really important that we graduated from the same home of education. And this thing provides for us gives for us some feeling like we are same-minded, like we are the partners, and of course we are the brothers. Thank you for your attention one more time, and I wish you all the best in your future career. Thank you.
Our second inductee is the Slovenian Armed Forces Command Senior Listed Advisor, Sergeant Major Danijel Kovac.
Sergeant Major Danijel Kovac was born on 14 August 1972 in Maribor, Slovenia. He has attended several U.S. Army courses to include Ranger School and the Battle Staff course. He has also served with the Royal Canadian Dragoons in 2005. He is a graduate of Class 62, United States Army, Sergeant's Major Academy.
Ladies and gentlemen, Sergeant Major Danijel Kovac.
Sergeant Major of the Army, the Commandant, cadre, distinguished guests, visitors, family and friends, and last but not least, the students that you are sitting right now. I bid you a warm and hearty good morning, and thank you for that warm introduction that I just received. It is truly an honor and privilege to have the opportunity to stand here before you on this very special and meaningful day. It was in 2011 when I was standing in front of this building asking myself what this institution will give me. The answer was education. But when I graduated, I realized that beside that, I gained a rewarding experience filled with many great memories. In regard to the fact that all of us from different countries and armies, we were able to share experience with so many wonderful people and outstanding professionals from different career fields. We increased compatibility and interaction so important on missions and exercises all over the world. The Academy achieved that by unique, highly effective educational methods open for students' ideas. We gained first-hand experience of the political, economic, cultural, historical, and social way of living in the US. Furthermore, for me personally, The most important, we expand our social network and made a lifetime friendships. Remember what Albert Einstein once said, education is not learning of facts, but the training of the mind to think. At the end, I would like to thank the Academy for giving me the unforgettable time while being here, the IMSO for supporting us, internationals. Especially, I would like to thank Freddie. Where are you, Freddie? My sponsor, Sergeant Major William B. Montrose, and last but not least, my family, my wife Sandra, and my children for all the support and patience. Thank you and wish you all the best in your future.
Our third inductee is the 4th Sergeant Major of the Belize Defense Force, Sergeant Major Roberto Pop.
4th Sergeant Major Roberto Pop from Big Falls Village, Toledo District, Belize, Central America, has served for over 24 years. 4th Sergeant Major Pop served as the Quartermaster Sergeant Major responsible for the procurement of supplies for the entire Belize Defense Force. 4th Sergeant Major Roberto Pop is a graduate of Class 64, United States Army, Sergeant Major Cadet.
Ladies and gentlemen, Sergeant Major Roberto Pop.
Command Sergeant Major of the Army, Command Sergeant Major Daniel Joeli, Command Sergeant Major Jimmy Sellers, Commandant of the NCOL Leadership Center of Excellence, Command Sergeant Major David Lee, Sergeant Major Course Director, and other members of directing staff, students of Class 69, families and friends, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, a pleasant good morning. If I have missed anyone, please accept my humble apologies. By the virtue of this program, I am Warrant Officer Class 2 Roberto Bob from Belize, Central America, and a proud graduate of this prestigious academy. And it is indeed a pleasure and an honor to be here today on such a special occasion. I would like to take this opportunity to thank the government of the United States and Belize to have seen the potential and awarded me the opportunity of attending this most prestigious and highly respected institution. My special thanks to the director and senior leaders of the NCOL Leadership Center of Excellence, to the Selection Board of the Hall of Fame, to my sponsors while I was attending the Academy, Command Sergeant Major Retired James and Joeli Houghton. More importantly, I would like to thank my family, my wife who was fortunate to be here with me today, and our 2 kids who are not able to make it here with us on this special occasion. However, they are not with us physically, but are present in our thoughts and spirit. They have endured the many sacrifices that my career has demanded and have always provided unwavering support. And also to the men and women of my defense force for their willingness to embrace change as slow as it may come. I would also be remiss if I didn't offer special thanks to the United States Security Corporation Office in Belize for allowing me to be here today. Let me begin by expressing my apprehension upon entering the hallowed fames of this academy. I arrived with some fear and anxiety. However, after I completed the various programs that extended over an year, I left armed with the courage, determination, willpower to make a better path and for my institution back home, a better one. By comparison, the BDF is a small force. However, the training we instill in our soldiers is second to none. And for this, I'm thankful for the NCOL Leadership Center of Excellence, which was then the United States Army Sergeant Major Academy. So if I fumble a little bit on those words, it's because I am from that era. I am from a third world country, as all are aware, but the level of confidence and standard I enforce is first class. The hallmark of this institution, which is to oversee the conduct, care, discipline, training, and education of our troops, are emblematic of what sergeant majors before me and after me will have to uphold and continue to uphold for generations to come. As sergeant majors, we are the guardians of traditions and standards. We set and enforce the highest standards within ranks and files of our respective institutions. As I look back over my tenure as a fourth sergeant major, I observe where the experiences in this institution has shaped how I think, how I acted, and how I executed my duties. As I undertook the various departments within the sergeant major course, it became clear to me where my defense force was lacking, and right away I began taking notes in areas where I was certain would be quickly and easily implemented on my return. I was able to set a few short-term and long-term goals. Needless to say that my biggest challenge was influencing those above me and, to some extent, my peers. However, much patience was needed since I was not yet in a position to influence the direction of my force. It was important for me to implement goals that were achievable and incrementally change their perspective. And I can say that it has been working progressively, although very slowly, in that regards. I would like to recognize two main areas that had greater influence over my development. One is in the method of instruction, where one is challenged to think and to generate ideas, and its inclusiveness in joint and multinational settings, which certainly prepares sergeant majors to be able to operate in a complex security environment. Secondly, it is the care and emphasis placed on soldiers, combined with family readiness. This is critical for us as sergeant majors, since we are the morale officers of our organization. Our superiors depend on us for advice. Our subordinates look up to us for guidance and direction. In conclusion, I would like to once again thank the faculty and staff of the NCOL Leadership Center of Excellence for the wonderful opportunity and important job that they are doing in preparing sergeant majors and NCOs all over the world to operate alongside their commanders. It certainly helped within my defense force. I am grateful for the opportunity to be selected for the Hall of Fame and stand proud to represent this academy. Thank you, and God bless you all. Ultima strong.
Our fourth inductee is Warrant Officer Class 1, Command Sergeant Major Joeli Rabuli of the Republic of Fiji Military Force.
Warrant Officer Class 1, Joeli Rabuli was born in 1968 in Fiji on Moala Island. His major deployments were to Iraq as a battalion command sergeant major and to Sinai, Egypt, which led to his selection as the Land Force Sergeant Major in 2018. Command Sergeant Major Rabuli is a graduate of Class 67, United States Army Sergeant's Major Academy.
Joeli Rabuli.
Bula. Major Daly, commandant of the USASMA, the IMSO team, the directors, SMAs from the other countries who are here today. Also recognized one of the veterans from the Second World War who is here today, always support the service of the American force and the international students. Invited guests, lecturers, instructors, ladies and gentlemen, not forgetting Class 69. It is indeed a great honor to be inducted into the International Hall of Fame at the USASMA today. I am the first NCO to be educated at the USASMA from my country, Fiji Island. I travel more than 10,000 kilometers and fly more than 12 hours to reach El Paso. I was in class 67. I always say that I will work hard every time I was here to put something on the wall, to open the hallway for more Fijian NCO to come and study at USASMA. So far, there has been 2 Fijian NCO have been graduated from the NCO at USASMA. Currently, I'm the land force sergeant major, and one of my main aims is to develop NCO in my country. All the knowledge and skills I gained from USASMA helps me on my day-to-day work. Also helps me to establish a lot of network between NCO and sergeant majors all over the world. I've been to few symposiums in some of the countries since 2017 and established a lot of network. When they recognize or know that I was educated or graduated from the USASMA. I would like to acknowledge a few people before I conclude my remarks this morning. Firstly, my family back home, particularly my wife for tremendous support when I attended USASMA for 13 months in El Paso. My chief of army back home and also my commander of the land force back home for allowing me to come this far to be inducted into the Hall of Fame this morning. Also my SMA of the army always support me. Everyone I recommend to him after I graduate from USASMA. My classmates, class 67, few is still here today as an instructor or one already in the SMA position from UK. Here today, thank you for supporting me as the first Fijian student to be studying USASMA when I was here. Also, I would like to acknowledge my core class, DTD 109 when I was here. I know I still have some instructors still in USASMA today. And also my sponsor, Sergeant Major Malina Neil, who is not here today. And all those have been supporting the international student. Also like to recognize and appreciate the IMSO staff, all the IMSO team, particularly to Mr. Escamilla. Everybody always produce, from the IMSO, always produce the first best job. You are second to none. And try to conclude, I congratulate you for your class 69 for graduation tomorrow, and also for your near future. Thank you, and good night.
Our fifth inductee is the Command Sergeant Major of P1 Infantry Brigade of the Estonian Defense Forces, Command Sergeant Major Andreas Rebane.
Command Sergeant Major Andreas Rebane was born on 10 May 1976 in Elva, Estonia. He has over 24 years of experience as an infantryman, and during his career served in every enlisted leadership position from squad leader to Command Sergeant Major. Command Sergeant Major Andreas Rebane is a graduate of Class 63, United States Army, Sergeant's Major Academy.
Command Sergeant Major Andreas Rebane.
Sergeant Daily, Command Sergeant Major Sellers, distinguished guest, and class 69. First of all, I would like to thank the non-commissioned officer Leadership Center of Excellence for this great privilege and honor. This is definitely not my personal achievement. Behind me are hundreds and thousands of soldiers, including our allies, who contribute to our collective security of daily basis. Today, facing dangerous and changing world, unfortunately, Estonia and the Estonian Defense Force are not ready to independently defend their homeland against the dangers of the world. As a small country, we must continue to maintain and enhance relationships with our allies. At the same time, we must understand that no one is going to help us if we don't want to do it ourselves. In recent years, we have jointly focused on changing our own attitude towards our most important assets, a motivated and well-trained force. The Estonian Defense Force was built on the reserve army, which means that the main force is trained units in the reserve. Today, soldiers play a major role for future security. Without motivated, enthusiastic, and competent soldiers, we don't have any kind of fighting power. We as non-commissioned officers are aware to provide our soldiers good working and service conditions on a daily basis and protection against unfair treatment. Soldiers must feel that they welcome and value from the first day. We should act with the soldiers as we want to us be treated. Soldiers must maintain a high level of motivation throughout the service and definitely start their reserve service with positive experience. We must understand that every one of our soldiers, regardless their personal health, length of service, is and must be important to us in the future. The key to our success lies in well-trained units. All mistakes that we make today, accidentally or intentionally, may be amplified during the future service. Training for units must be well throughout and planned, at the same time be constructive and attractive. In the service, we must be guided by the principles. Decisions that we make in the service or outside our service must be truthful, relevant, and certainly in accordance with the core values. Respecting our core values helps us to better orient ourselves in our daily service and to improve cohesion and commitment to the task we have set. Finally, class 69. My personal congratulations to each of you completing a professionally challenging and rewarding course. Your soldiers, NCOs, and officers will look to you for some adjustment, increased performance, and exemplary leadership. Technologies and skills which you acquire and refine will strengthen both you and your organization. Work hard, but at the same time, do not forget to have fun too. Best wishes for continued success to you and your family members. I thank once more the Non-Commissioned Officer Leadership Center of Excellence and congratulate fellow Sergeant Major who were today selected to the Hall of Fame. Thank you.
Our sixth inductee is Warrant Officer Class 1, William Richmond, Sergeant Major of the Guyana Defense Force.
Warrant Officer Class 1 William Richmond was born on 23 October 1975 in Golden Grove on the east coast of Demerara, Guyana, South America. He was the cadet school sergeant major prior to attaining the sergeant's major course in 2014. He is a graduate of Class 65 United States Army Sergeant's Major Academy.
Ladies and gentlemen, Warrant Officer Class 1, William Richmond.
Sergeant Major of the Army, Sergeant Lilly, Command Sergeant Major Sellers, Commandant, other distinguished guests, special invitees, members of Class 69. Good morning. I'm deeply honored to be the first Guyanese Force Sergeant Major to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. To be recognized by the NCO School of Excellence is a very special and humbling experience. Approximately 4 years ago, I attended this institution and had some very experiences which you have had. Invariably, they were thoughts of wanting to sleep, go home, or probably quit. Yet, I persevered and succeeded. The journey while here is usually hectic and can take a toll on one's sensibility in many ways. However, your task is to stay focused and disciplined. Do this, and I promise that the results will be satisfying and illuminating just as it was for me. I am proud of the man that I've become, and this academy has played a part in that process. My exposure to your value systems and culture has impacted me and informed my perspective regarding command and leadership. This has been very helpful for me ever since my return to the Guyana Defense Force in my efforts to initiate transformation within the Corps of warrant officers and senior non-commissioned officers. This academy has prepared me well for any eventuality, especially since Guyana is becoming an oil developing nation. In closing, allow me to say thanks to my wife, Ms. Colette Luke Richmond, who is not here, for her love and support, my children for their support as well. Thanks to my sponsor, Sergeant Major Carl Cunningham, and other students of my class who took me under their wings when I was here for that year. Special thanks to the Chief of Staff of the Guyana Defense Force for believing in me and my abilities to get the job done and for his daily inspiration. Thanks to the NCOL team as well for a job well done while I was here. Finally, I thank all my relatives and friends for their contributions and encouragement that have given me throughout that time. May this institution continue to be a beacon for professionalism and development for men and women around the world. Long live the NCO School of Excellence. God bless America.
At this time, we invite all 6 of our Hall of Fame inductees to join the Commandant at center stage. USASMA looks forward to continued relations and fellowships with its international friends, both young and old. We again would like to thank all those who attended today and express our great gratitude for our newest Hall of Fame members. Following the Hall of Honor event, the International Military Student Office will host a reception for our Hall of Fame members, international students, sponsors, and friends in the Randall Shugart Conference Room on the 2nd floor of the Learning Resource Center following this event. Congratulations to our graduating international partners and newest Hall of Fame inductees. At this time, we would like to extend a warm welcome to the NCO Leadership Center of Excellence Hall of Honor inductees, Command Sergeant Major Retired Diane Williams, and the 21st Commandant of the NCO Leadership Center of Excellence, Command Sergeant Major Retired Dennis DeFries. 244 years ago, this past Friday, our nation's leaders established the Continental Army. Its foundation began a rich heritage of service and successful defense of this great country and her citizens. Today, we celebrate the honor, loyalty, and bravery demonstrated in this noble calling. There are many who have contributed to the lineage of the Non-Commissioned Officer Corps and the NCO Professional Development System and the NCO Leadership Center of Excellence. However, there are only a very few whose actions or inspiration impacted Army-wide advancements in NCO education, training, and development. These remarkable individuals proved invaluable in developing and maintaining a reputation as the premier corps of non-commissioned officers in the world. For the numerous individuals whose excellence alone is deserving of recognition, the NCO Leadership Center of Excellence selects only those rare individuals whose unique and extraordinary accomplishments separate them from all the others as they embody the Center's motto, Ultima. Today we recognize 2 of those rare individuals who over the course of their careers have left a significant and lasting positive impact on the training, education, and development of NCOs and the continued professional prowess and might of the United States Army. Our first inductee to be recognized is Command Sergeant Major Retired Diane Williams.
instrumental in moving the United States Army Sergeant's Major Academy and the Non-Commissioned Officer Leadership Center of Excellence to a place of educational distinction for enlisted leader development, not only for the Army and our sister services, but also for our allied partner nations and arguably the world. Diane holds a Master's of Education degree from North Central University, a Master of Arts degree in Management and Leadership from Webster University, graduating with honors, and a Bachelor of Science degree in Professional Aeronautics from Embry-Riddle University. Diane Williams has directly instructed, coached, and mentored over 1,120 senior enlisted leaders from all branches of the U.S. Armed Forces and our allied nations who attended the United States Army Sergeant's Major Academy. Over the last 14 years, Diane has positively influenced either directly or indirectly over 8,820 senior military leaders from the United States and our partner nations. The impact of these leaders on those they lead is immeasurable. Of note, the current commandant for the NCOL Leadership Center of Excellence was one of Diane's students. Additionally, the first Afghanistan Sergeant Major who attended the Sergeant Major course during Class 56 was a student of Diane's. He went on to be the Sergeant Major of the Army for his Army. Diane has had numerous students who have went on to successfully serve as battalion and brigade Sergeant's Major, as well as nominative level Sergeant's Major. Diane Williams has worked extremely hard to stay relevant as our Army and our world continually change. She always thinks critically about the missions facing today's Sergeant Major and has never stopped viewing problem sets from a point of view of a Sergeant Major that retired in 2003. Diane Williams is a voracious reader and a student of leadership. To this day, both current and former students, not just from the Army, use her as a source of reach-back capability and advice on how to appropriately address complex situations.
Please welcome to the stage our Commandant, Command Sergeant Major Jimmy J. Sellers.
Hey, good morning again. So, I gotta tell you, to be honest, I'm humbled and honored to be here again today. It is truly humbling. As you heard from the narrator, Sergeant Major Arnold, as he expressed, Sergeant Major Williams was my first instructor when I first arrived at Sergeant Major Academy back in 2005. And I would tell you, as a young soldier, coming out from being a first sergeant, thinking you know it all when you first get into USASMA, she was coming off of her tour as being a brigade command sergeant major and just humbled me. Got me focused in terms of the different things I need to do to be successful when I got there in the battlefield as a battalion sergeant major going into combat. For somebody to pull you in the office and say, hey, you're not doing extremely well as you think you are. I want to make sure that you know that, so as you go throughout the remaining of the semesters, you can kind of adjust your course and path. That's basically what she did for me. So the things that she touched me on personally, I would never, ever forget. Part of the reasons why I did not make the commandant's list, although I had a 98.6 average, was because Diane said I wasn't ready to be at that level. And so I had to work a little bit harder to get there throughout the course of the years. So Sergeant Major Williams, Diane, my friend, thank you very much for all that you have imparted upon me. As you can see, it wasn't in vain. We are both here today, and it's my honor and pleasure to unveil your photo and induct you into the Hall of Honor. Thank you.
Our inductees' contributions to the NCO Leadership Center of Excellence mark her with distinction and honor as we proudly name Mrs. Diane Williams, a member of the NCO Leadership Center Hall of Honor. Mrs. Diane Williams.
First, giving honor to God. Sergeant Major of the Army Day, Command Sergeant Major Sellers, distinguished guests. I gotta keep my image. There are a lot of students in here right now who's having disbelief that I'm a little shaken. But I have to tell you this story. I was at home having a rare moment of cooking a meal. See, my friends over here laughing because for me, cooking is a Kodak moment. And the phone rang, and Command Sergeant Major Sellers was on the line, and he was sharing the news that I had been selected for induction into the Hall of Honor. After almost dropping the phone in my spaghetti, I fell on my knees and gave God the praise. Because all blessings come from God. And while I was praising God, in my mind's eye, I could see my mother smiling down from heaven. I was overwhelmed with tears of joy, as I am right now. But I just have to say thank you, God. Being here today is beyond recognition. It's acknowledgement of His grace and His mercy. There are many who have been on this incredible journey with me, far too many to mention by name. But I would not be here today if Dr. Michael Hayes and Sergeant Major Gabriel Honor, had not submitted my name for this recognition. I'd like to also thank the Hall of Honor Induction Committee, Command Sergeant Major Sellers, and his staff, as I am truly honored and humbled by this induction. I want to thank my fellow instructors. A lot of them have been here almost as long as I have, but especially the instructors in Department of Command Leadership, my extended family. Additionally, I would like to thank all the members of the different organizations that I belong to who took time out of their busy schedules to be here today. Thank you. The El Paso Sergeant Majors Association, the Links Incorporated, the Top Ladies of Distinction Incorporated, and my fellow sorors of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. All of these organizations have the same thing as Class 69. That's right. Every organization I belong to tries and does and is being the difference in the El Paso community. Because every organization I belong to has the same motto, and that is to always give back. I also like to extend a gracious thanks to many of my former students who called me and said, you know, Ms. Williams, I'll be there today because I remember, like Sergeant Major Sellers said, I remember you setting me straight. And one of my students even said, Ms. Williams, I remember when you made me cry. And you know, I remember making him cry. But the rest of the story is, I also remember him graduating in the top 10% of his class. And lastly, but most importantly, I'd also like to thank my family. My sister Hazel, my brother Clarence, my pastor and his wife, and the man in my life, Greg, who always supports me and is always there for me. Yo! You know, when I came into the military, my first mentor, he gave me this advice. He said, do not follow where the path may lead. Go instead where there is no path and leave a trail. Don't be afraid to lead, but more importantly, learn how to follow. I learned early in my career that balancing leading and following is the greatest challenge of leadership. I learned in order to be an effective leader, you must be a courageous follower. So how does one become a courageous follower? Well, first, you need the courage to assume responsibility, to look for opportunities to fulfill your potential and maximize your value to the organization in which you serve. You must have the courage to serve, develop the tenacity to assume new and additional responsibilities, and the wherewithal to stand up for your leaders when they make the tough and hard decisions. You must have the courage to challenge, to stand up, to stand out, and the intestinal fortitude to risk rejection. Risk rejection when trying to make sure that you correct injustice or inappropriate behavior. One of my other students from my first class, Mr. John Hall, who is also an instructor in DCL, he reminded me of my first goal when I first became an instructor. And that was to set high standards and enforce those standards. And then he went on to say, Diane, you haven't changed. Well, to me, that was a compliment. Because although change is good, there are some things that should never change. Like the thirst for knowledge, the quest for excellence, and setting and enforcing high standards. I've always set and enforced high standards in my classroom because to me, being an instructor is the greatest joy and the greatest position that you could have in society today. To be able to impart new knowledge to a student is the most exciting and rewarding experience in the classroom. To see a student get it, to see their eyes light up, knowing that they truly understand the things that are being taught, that's something I will never grow tired of. I believe education within the classroom is more than learning theories and principles on written texts. It should be combined with a developmental process that will instill the skills that are necessary for students to become value-added sergeant majors and value-added members of society. My mother gave me 3 things to remember that have guided me all of my life. She said, believe in God, believe in yourself, and if you have to choose between people liking you and people respecting you, choose respect.
Oh, yes.
This advice has guided me to a meaningful life. Because contrary to what some people believe, a meaningful life doesn't mean being rich, popular, or perfect. It's about being real, being humble, being able to share yourselves and to touch the lives of others in a positive way. My goal in life is not to live forever, on this earth that is. My goal in life is to create something that does. The students that I've had the honor of teaching and mentoring who have graduated from this academy, I know will continue to make this academy the envy of all the world. To the instructors that I have mentored, and to all of the instructors who are still here at the academy, like the Sergeant Major said, you must always remember, leaders build lethality, but you develop the leaders. One of my mother's favorite songs is Let the Work I've Done Speak for Me. It has been my pleasure to serve and help create something that I know will last forever, and that is a strong, professional, lethal army and a value-added Sergeant Major Corps. Thank you so much for this honor.
Our second inductee to be recognized is Command Sergeant Major Retired Dennis DeFries.
Command Sergeant Major Retired Dennis DeFries had a long and distinguished career of over 32 years of service to the United States Army. His 32-plus years as an accomplished, well-trained, and educated non-commissioned officer motivated his cause to develop United States Army non-commissioned officers to be the best in the world. As Commandant, United States Army Sergeants Major Academy, in his first 90 days at the helm, Command Sergeant Major Retired DeFries personally met with the Chief of Staff of the Army. The purpose of this meeting was to present a plan for standing up the first ever USASMA Fellowship concept as a new tenet to the Army Broadening Opportunity Program for deserving Command Sergeants Major and Sergeants Major in the operational force. The concept entailed USASMA partnering with Pennsylvania State University to provide the opportunity for 20 selectees a year. The requirement entailed earning a master's degree in adult education and lifelong learning during their first year as fellows, followed by a 24 to 36-month commitment as instructors for the Sergeant's Major course. The Chief of Staff of the Army immediately approved the concept during the decision brief that Command Sergeant Major DeFries presented to him in December of 2014. The fellowship program was a key element in setting the groundwork for the Academy moving toward accrediting the Sergeant's Major course to award a bachelor's degree in leadership and workforce development. In early 2015, the Sergeant Major of the Army and the TRADOC Command Sergeant Major issued Command Sergeant Major Retired DeFries and the United States Army Sergeant's Major Academy new imperatives for elevating the former non-commissioned officer education system to the new non-commissioned officer professional development system. The transition to the new system would require significant revamping of current enlisted education programs of instruction to a more rigorous curriculum demanding higher levels of educational mastery. Command Sergeant Major Retired DeFries' performance in positions of continually increasing levels of responsibility to include a broad and all-encompassing overhaul of the entire enlisted education system. His efforts cement his contributions Army-wide, impacting positive change toward making the United States Army enlisted members and non-commissioned officers far more capable on the battlefield than ever before in the history of the United States Army.
Please welcome to the stage our Commandant, Command Sergeant Major Jimmy J. Sellers.
Hey, just a couple of words, no need to clap. Hey, just a couple of words about Dennis. You know, I was sitting there thinking as Sergeant Major Arnold was reading his bio and his contributions to what he's done for this organization, the Army. I was just thinking how lucky and fortunate I am. Since being in this position, having the opportunity to induct 2 commandants into the Hall of Honor. And then, of course, my former instructor right here. That's very humbling. So I don't take that lightly. But what I would tell you about Dennis and his induction here is very well deserved. So if you take a look at everything that the Army has been doing for the past 3 years now, it all started under his tenure. And one of the core principles that he left upon me prior to the department position was, no matter what we do with education, don't forget the end product is to produce the best sergeant major for the Army. Bottom line up front. And I think the staff would share with you that a lot of times, as we're talking about developing the future corps of non-commissioned officer, I kind of echo those comments over and over again. Let's not forget, education is important, but the end product is to produce the best sergeant major and the best non-commissioned officer for our Army. And so with that, you know, we got to think about one thing that probably wasn't mentioned here today about Dennis. And it's the fact that, you know, taking a course that wasn't developed at all and creating it in the Master Blues course and implementing that inside of our system, being the bridge for NCOL education to get soldiers ready for the Sergeant's Major Academy. Although there's a lot of soldiers out there that would argue against it, but because of the fact that it was too hard and it was rigorous, and it caused a lot of angst in the field, but I think the end result, it produces a better non-commissioned officer for our non-commissioned officer corps, and has made our Army better. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Command Sergeant Retired DeFreese for induction to the Hall of Honor.
Our inductee's contributions to the NCO Leadership Center of Excellence mark him with distinction and honor as we proudly name Command Sergeant Major Retired Dennis DeFries, a member of the NCO Leadership Center of Excellence Hall of Honor. Ladies and gentlemen, Command Sergeant Major Retired Dennis DeFries.
It's kind of surreal having something done to you that you've done to other people. Hey, so I didn't feel like, I'm kind of vain, so I didn't want to bring my reading glasses, so this is my speech. Those of you who remember me as commandant, you know that's just the way it is. So being retired, I have a different protocol list than the active duty people. So first, I want to welcome my wife, Jane. Support me all these years, and now I finally moved her back home after chasing me around the Army for 33 years. SMA, Commandant Tony Thomas, the CASA, who supports us in everything. The community of El Paso, Richard Dave, the president of the Chamber of Commerce. Unbelievable the support that the El Paso community gives us. And then I've got my friends here from Golf and Buddies, Mike Jacobs and Joe Cowan, and John Bailey, the regional president for AUSA, sitting in the SK seat there. You didn't know that? That's a golf joke. So, just a couple comments real quick about education, because I've heard it my whole career, and I heard it as the commandant, and I've heard it in the 2 years that I've been retired. That is overeducation. And I've heard senior officers talk about it, and I've heard senior enlisted undermine our Corps by saying, oh, we're overeducating our NCOs. Think about what that means. Put a piece of paper and put pro on one side and con on the other side, and tell me what having a great education hurts. So I just want you to think about that. What does overeducating somebody mean? And can that really happen? So I want to talk about the fellowship. So Sergeant Major Sellers kind of talked about it. So I got here in June of 14, and before I arrived, I'd already reviewed the I can't think what it's called anymore. I'm retired so long. It's not the medal. It's the No. It's a medal in a deploying unit. It is a you guys aren't very educated. Anyway, what I saw was that our civilian educators had a minimum education requirement, but our sergeant major instructors didn't. They could have anything from a GED to a master's degree. And in order for what I envisioned was to be able to be accredited as a degree-producing institution, we had to upgrade the military instructors. So my first week here, I gave my instructor, when I was a student here, Mr. Sylvester Smith, the mission to do a feasibility study on whether we could support as an Army a fellowship every year with some university. We went for several months. He did a lot of the work that I took credit for. No, I give him all the credit. And in October, I told then TRADOC Sergeant Major Daly that I was ready to present it to the TRADOC Commander General Perkins. And so at the AUSA convention in October 14, I presented our plan to use Penn State and to educate 20 sergeants major a year to get their master's degree and teach at the academy. And his words were, why are we not already doing this? So he gave me permission to go to the Chief Staff of the Army. So it's not like I went around anybody. What I went around is the bureaucracy. I didn't go through councils of colonels. I didn't go through general officer steering committees. I did what a good leader does, and sometimes you go around those. Bureaucracy is important. It makes sure that there's no one group that monopolizes assets, and that's what they're good for, and they do a good job of that. But there's sometimes as a leader that you've got to take the bull by the horns. So the TRADOC commander gave me permission to go to the Chief Staff of the Army. Mr. Smith and I went to the Pentagon. We briefed the Chief Staff, and he said just like this. He went, okay. And then the meeting ended, and then the G3 of the Army came over and said, hey, congratulations on getting that approved. And I was like, oh, he approved it. Because he just said okay. And he goes, well, that's what he did. That's how he does it. And so then we spent the next 3 or 4 months convincing his staff that they didn't get to say no on this, that the Chief Staff of the Army had already said yes, and everybody, all the bureaucrats, told us, oh, you can't do that. I said, like, the Chief Staff already approved it. Well, we didn't. Okay. So, staffs are great, I'm not saying, yes, we love the staff, but sometimes you got to go around those guys. So anyway, in the middle of all this, October of 14, still the TRADOC Sergeant Major Dan Daly calls me and said, hey, the Chief Staff, we just had a futures meeting. He's been going around meeting with battalion and brigade commanders, and everybody's complaining that E8s aren't trained well enough and educated well enough. How fast can you have an E8 level course done? So that started, let's try to get it in here. That started us on the path to introducing a master's sergeant level class to the Army, which took us about a year of analysis and the whole adding process for those of you that are in education. Did our first pilot here, and then did a couple more pilots with the Reserve and National Guard, and finally got that out. And I know it's still going, and I'm sure it's still proving angst to the force that it's too hard. And I will tell you that when I arrived here, their education for international students, it was about 30 a year. And so I started traveling around, and we got the Great Britain partners back, and now have our first British student here that graduated a few years ago is their second SMA ever. But what I talked about earlier, that you cannot be overeducated, we are the envy of the world. As I travel around, every country wants their NCO Corps and their NCO education system to be like ours. Every country. In fact, China's is probably better than ours. They really want theirs educated. All their sergeant majors are educated. So if you think that this isn't a thing, especially when, for those of us that joined the Army in the 80s, we didn't have the 2 extra domains that we fight in now, space and cyber. We just had the easy air, land, water, easy stuff. Now you got space and cyber. So, we didn't have all that extra, what do you got, 40% extra domains now? That's a pretty good, significant increase. So when you go out there, class, I'm not going to say your name. I tried to limit that when I was a combat too, because after a while it just drives me nuts. When you go out there, you have got to be a proponent for NCO education. You can't go out there and say, that 10 months was a waste of my time. Because if it was, then you wasted your time. Not because we wasted your time, because you wasted your time. You need to go out there and be a proponent for our education system. Don't go out there and talk about how we're spending too much time educating and training. And don't get those two confused. They're not mutually exclusive, and they're not opposites. They actually complement each other. And we need both. Training for the expected and education for the ambiguous and gray areas that you're going to be forced to deal with. So go out there and be a proponent for our education system. Go out there and send your soldiers when they're supposed to go to the school they're supposed to go to. It's more important than your JRTC rotation or your your NTC rotation or whatever else it is. It's more important. It's our Army. So make it our Army. Support your commanders, support your troops. Have a great El Paso Day.
We again thank all of our special guests, family members, and the newest members of the NCOL Leadership Center of Excellence Hall of Honor who have helped make this a special day for our inductees. Please rise for the singing of the Army Song and remain standing for the departure of our Hall of Honor members.